Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Zane. Today we'll be having a look at EVgo fast charging. EVgo is the largest public fast charging network for electric vehicles in America and is powered by 100% renewable energy with more than 800 EV fast charging network throughout the 34 states and 67 metropolitan areas. And a good thing to understand here is that EVgo has a lot more electric EV chargers that are currently in construction and under development. So let's take a look at the convenience of using EVgo. Are compatible with all fast charge capable EV models currently on the market, including Tesla, Model S, Model 3, Model X, and Model Y. This list also includes Nissan Leaf, Chevrolet Bolt, BMW i3, Jaguar I-Pace, Kia Nitro, Hyundai Kona, Audi e-tron, Porsche Taycan, Honda Clarity, and many more vehicles. Now, from my personal perspective, this is very good for the company because there are so many different companies that are getting into the EV charging space. It's really good for EV. EVgo is not considered the largest electric charging company, but fast charging, it's considered the largest. Now, I also mentioned that EVgo is 100% renewable energy. EVgo is committed to protecting our environment by making it easy as possible for drivers to go electric. With 800 plus stations across the country, more than 130 million people in the US live within 10 miles drive of an EVgo fast charger. That's amazing if you think about it, because that's over 130 million people in America. Now, as for EVgo, in 2019, EVgo became the first public EV charging company network in the US to be powered by 100% renewable energy. They contracted with energy suppliers and renewable energy certificate REC partners to ensure that each gigawatt hour delivers our fast charging network financially supports an operating renewable energy generator in the US. And as a fun little fact, there have been over 282 million electric miles that have been driven due to EVgo. That's an equivalent of 11,000 times around the Earth. Just to put it in perspective, 11,000 times. Each share price currently sits at $11.75 US cents. Now, the first thing that I can show you is that this is considered to be extremely cheap. Now, the lowest price that it's ever been was around $10.58. But here's why I think this is an incredible low price for any electric charging station. It has a lot to do with supply and demand. You take companies like Apple. Apple has a lot of shares, like over 10 billion. And that's the reason why their share price is relatively low, around $100 or $150. They like to keep it low so it's an attractive price buy-in for new investors. So that's putting it in perspective. Now let's put another company into perspective with EVgo, a company that's closer to the electric market, a company that's dedicated itself to the electric market, Tesla. The supply sits at 68 million shares outstanding and a public float of 39 million shares. There is 60 million shares in supply. That's extremely low for any shares or any company that issues shares. But if you take a look at Tesla is leading the way in electric cars manufacturing and electric car sales. But Tesla also has their Tesla superchargers, their electric charging stations. Tesla's shares supply is above 963 million shares in supply. Those are shares that are outstanding. And there are 775 million shares in public float. Any company that issues shares under 100 million shares, that's extremely low. Even if the shares was around 100 million, 200 million, that's still quite low. But at 68 million shares in supply, that's ridiculously low. So that gives me a lot of confidence. EVgo will easily crack $100. You're looking at the next 2 to 3 years. I believe it will crack $100 quite easily. It will break $100 quite easily because the share supply is just incredibly low. Blink Charging is a competitor. They are an electric car charging company as well, just like EVgo. However, if you look at the price, it's $31 $31 at the moment. You look at the share supply, it's incredibly low as well. 42 million shares outstanding and public float of 36 million shares. These are EV charging companies with extremely low share supply, which means that the price will easily skyrocket. That is if, of course, the companies they do well. Obviously, if the companies they don't do well, these share prices, they're not going to do very well. Most of these electric car charging companies are going to do well, and the ones that don't do well, that company might just be sold to another electric car charging company, and they probably will just merge them together. But the world is going to need a lot of electric car charging stations, and one day the demand is going to be so high that the price of these shares, that the price of EVgo shares are probably going to hit. You're looking at $100, $200, $300, probably even more. But these are some of the reasons I think EVgo has great potentials for the future. I must declare that this video is not financial advice. This video is not supposed to be taken as financial advice. This video is strictly for entertainment purposes. But let's go back to EVgo fast charging stations. We know it's 100% renewable. We know it's compatible with a range of different EV charging cars, because different cars use different type of chargers, but we know it's compatible with a large range of vehicles. Of what it looks like in the United States. This is how many car charging stations they have in the United States. California, they've got plenty in California, and not to mention New York and Texas as well. And by the looks of it, they are building out more and more stations, which is good. So here's the thing, more and more vehicles are going electric. Canada's recently announced their intentions to go zero emission vehicles gold. So it says here, last month Canada set a mandatory target that all new light duty vehicles, well, light duty cars and passenger trucks, sales by zero emission by 2035. Since then, Environmental Minister Jonathan Wilkinson and California government. Now, it's not just Canada that has intentions to go fully electric by 2030 or 2035. The UK has a similar plan to go fully electric by 2030. Ultimately, this is a good thing for the environment. Ultimately, this is a good thing for everyone overall. So more and more countries are going electric. More and more countries are planning to go electric. Electric car chargers, we don't have nearly enough. You have to realize it takes time to charge an electric car. It might take half an hour, it could take an hour, depending on the vehicle. Now, that means these electric car charging stations, they're going to get extremely busy at some point in the future when we get more and more electric cars. So how exactly are we going to supply this huge demand? Well, through companies like this, through companies like EVgo, Electrify America, Tesla charging stations such as Tesla superchargers, Blink Charging, all of these electric car charging companies, we need them to build more infrastructure. But ultimately, that's why I think this is why I think this company is going to do really well in the future. And I think other electric car charging companies as well are indeed going to do really well in the future. But I suspect they'll be going to other countries fairly soon, such as Europe, because Europe has a huge car charging. Other countries have huge demand in vehicle charging stations. I believe EVgo and other companies are gonna eventually start going to these countries to supply the demand. But overall, I've enjoyed making this video. Thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe to the channel, leave a like, leave a comment. If you have any questions, just let me know. But let me know what you think about my theory that these shares that have low supply, they'll do extremely well in the future. They'll do extremely well in the future if the company does well as well. So thank you for watching, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next